Hello, folks, and welcome to another edition of Peter Talks Wrestling With. And it seems that I'll only talk wrestling with two people. It looks like a third now. But I only talk wrestling, it seems, with Jake and the homie Nathan Neuman, a.k.a. Headliner5, the number 5, not written out, from the Twitterverse. How you doing, Nate?
I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain. It's Friday. It's a weekend, and I'm ready to talk some wrestling.
Are you ready to talk some Valentine?
No, screw that.
All right, then. You're not in a relationship, are you?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. Me neither. I haven't been in a relationship since, 2008, man. Like a full-on relationship with someone? Nah.
Yeah, it's been longer than that for me, but I just don't care.
Me, yeah. I care a little bit. I think the ball needs to start rolling at some point with, real life sort of stuff, like kids and a career, but I don't know. I don't dwell on it too much, but it pops up every once in a while. And lo and behold, Valentine's Day reminds me of that shit, and it sucks.
Yeah, I can see that. Me, I'm just Valentine's Day, who gives a shit?
A lot of people do.
I'll do whatever the hell I want to do. So, usually probably watch wrestling or something stupid.
Yeah, we love wrestling, so that will be our Valentine's.
Yep.
Yeah. But
you can watch St. Valentine's Day Massacre on the WWE Network.
No, I'm just going to listen to My Bloody Valentine all day.
That works.
Yeah, that's it. Watch some Greg the Hammer Valentine.
I saw someone tweeted something out that said that they were going to watch Greg the Hammer Valentine on Valentine's Day because it's appropriate.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty creative.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. And other than that, man, in the immortal words of Dusty Rhodes and his infamous promo, I'm definitely going through some hard times. It's so slow. It's been so slow from, at my job as a DJ and as a screen print. Things just dip. Things dip, a lot. And it's now kicking me in my ass with the bills and shit. And I'm just I turn on I get an email from SoundCloud saying that my subscription had run up. Because I didn't have enough money in my account, so I had to move money over from my savings over to...
That always sucks. I hate doing that.
To my SoundCloud, and I had to re-up my SoundCloud subscription. It's hard times! Hard times! Hard times, daddy! That's where I am right now. Man, because I'm such in a mid-Atlantic wrestling mode. I've been watching the shit out of that stuff, man.
Yeah.
The promo action of that stuff is just so amazing. So amazing, man.
That's because they knew how to tell stories back then. And do it effectively.
And it was unlearned. It was they were just doing it as they go. Right now, the promos that they shoot, whether...
Yeah, it was all ad-lib. Now it's scripted.
Oh, man, it's beautiful stuff, man. And some of it can come off as sort of dry, but it's good dry. Where they're and when I see you in the ring, I'm gonna beat you up, and then just walk away. I was you can't beat that stuff. But anyway, let's go into an array of topics. We went through some bullet points before, but we're starting off with NXT Takeover. This is 3, right?
No, this would be 4.
Okay, Rival.
Because there was a Rival, and then there was the rest have been takeovers. There's been 5 specials. So this was Takeover 4.
Takeover 4 Rival.
Correct.
And the main event was the championship, NXT championship match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. So, okay. So the discussion I feel that needs to start is, I feel, oh man, this is not going to be popular amongst my listeners. Maybe you told me already that it's not popular towards you, but I feel like the four-way takeover is kind of like the ceiling that it's reached. It's probably the best of all the takeovers so far, and it sets such a precedent that I think future takeovers are going to suffer, and that they've raised the bar so high that I think that
you're saying within that one match, or just with?
No, I'm saying within that entire event from 2 months ago. I mean, everything, okay. even like the lower card things came out and performed at such a high level that, you take this one, and you said earlier before we started recording that it was filler, because.
Well, they always have filler, but this one seemed to have more filler than. Because there's usually one filler match, whereas this one I think had 2 filler matches.
Yeah, but the last
one filler match and one match I really didn't care about because it was bad.
But the last takeover, the filler matches actually rose to the occasion. Like they were really, it was like from the beginning to the end, everyone was at a super high level to where it ended up being like this topic of discussion of the people on the main roster complaining to, there was like this turmoil with the main roster versus the WWE creative to why they couldn't perform at such a level as the development,
Well, and that's, I think, why because the last time they did a special, the live special was on December 11th, which was a Thursday, and then the TLC was on December 14th. And this time when they did it, it was February 11th was NXT, and then we're not getting Fastlane until the 22nd. So I think that's why they purposely didn't do that again, where the main roster would have to do a pay-per-view right after TakeOver, because it wouldn't look as good.
See, and that's crap. You know why? That's total crap. Because you know what needs to happen, and I don't know if this is the workers or the creative, where it's like, well, they're making us look bad. We need to space it out. It's, if anything, the talent and the creative on the main roster needs to step up, look at these young bucks, and prove to them why they're on the main roster, why the creative is on the main, doing the main writing and booking.
I don't think it's so much the talent on the main roster, because the talent is there. I think it's the creative and the way the matches are booked.
So you mean to tell me that the creative is acting chicken shit right now? That
could be.
They don't want to go up against the.
I don't know. I'm not an insider. It's just something I'm speculating on that.
But it makes sense. I never even thought of that, though. Until you
they're just lazy, because it's like, if you look at how they've been writing these Raws, they've been awful. Like this last Monday's Raw was a 3-hour waste of time.
I mean, it was tough to get through. I will admit that it was tough to get through.
The match between Ziggler and Wyatt was pretty good, but other than that, I didn't take too much away from it.
So check this out. Not to go far off the topic.
Okay.
Do you think, I mean, it's, again, you brought up a good thing that they space out the pay-per-views and the events so where they don't compete. I think that's a bad idea. I think they need those close together so we can actually criticize and make it known, and then the talent can also make it known that the creative and the booking needs to fucking step up its game.
But see, if that would have happened, it would have already happened.
It sounds like a chicken shit move to me. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like, and this is the problem with the WWE, that it has no competition in terms of what's happening with Raw and SmackDown. With Nitro gone, and basically all the other promotions being at a far, far lower level, that even within itself, it refuses to compete.
Nitro just got moved to Destination America. They suck.
What
That's
does?
me referring to TNA.
Well, I'm just
TNA is pretty much WCW circa 2000.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that at one point the Monday Night Wars upped everyone's game to a certain extent, and now it's been free of competition for the past 14 years.
Since March 26th, 2001.
Okay, 13 years. And now they have an opportunity to have a competitive sort of source within itself. And then they're gonna shy away from that because they want to remain lazy within there's just conversation.
Competition within a company doesn't really work.
But it should.
I mean, yeah, it can.
This is why you have practice. This is why in sports, you don't go practice another team. You practice against one another to weed out the talent within. And if someone doesn't step up, someone is going to take your place within practice. Practice. We're talking practice? But why not have that open-ended competition? I mean, I don't know about you, but I see NXT as its own brand.
So do I. But I'm just saying since NXT is a WWE show, I don't buy it as organic competition like we had with ECW and, ECW to an extent and WCW back in the 90s. But it's not the same.
But would you agree that it would be a step in the right direction if they did have it as this open competition?
It would, but there's no way to do it because they'd have to move it.
Not move it in terms of programming, but like say take things like the events, like the pay-per-views or the supposed pay-per-views for the WWE main roster and these NXT takeovers, and you basically see toe to toe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How each brand is operating, and that.
Well, they're run by two different people.
Well,
one's smart and one's a freaking lunatic.
But do you see my point though?
Yeah.
The question is, should they go toe to toe even within? And do you think if that was the case, that the WWE product, which is so ironic that the smaller company of the upstarts, quote unquote upstarts, could actually teach the fucking main roster's creative a lesson?
Yeah, I guess when you put it that way, it makes a lot of sense.
All right. But so my theory is that the NXT takeovers are cornered to be as good as the four-way event that happened 2 months ago, and it sort of came off in this. To me, it came off in this takeover rival. You feel differently though.
How so?
No, you said earlier, you was like, that's because before we started recording, you were like, well, that's crap because all of these are really good. They will always remain good.
Well, yeah, I mean, sometimes the tape, like some of the tapings, you can tell, like, if you watch certain tapings, you can tell when the fourth one is because that's when the fans are really burned out.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this, it's 2 hours of nonstop action, and the fans are into it all the time.
Which I think the fans take over too much, and it gets pretty lame.
Well, yeah, because it's Smarkville.
All of a sudden, Orlando, Florida is a fucking Smarksville.
Well, now there's rumors that they're going to take NXT on the road.
Yes, they are.
And if they do that, then ROH is fucked. But that's a whole different story.
Yeah, it is. It is, and that's this is Vince Jr. 2.0 to basically take out the little territories and, well, in this case, the whatever ROH has or TNA has to its disposal of the smaller indie markets and things of that nature.
I don't think it's that. I think Triple H just wants to get guys used to working on the road.
Oh, obviously.
The minor leagues.
But subconsciously, you brought it up. Subconsciously, you brought it up. Poor ROH. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I don't think that's Triple H's intention or goal at all, is to like put ROH or any other company out of business.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it might be, but I just think he wants to get these guys used to working on the road and used to the schedule before they get put on the main roster.
Yeah, and then you all of a sudden become an Adam Rose.
Yeah. But like, to me, it's like, if they're going to take NXT on the road, then what's the point in making it to the main roster anyway? Because you'd think you'd want
more money.
I mean, more money, but
more exposure.
If I was a wrestler, I wouldn't want, and I had say over, if Triple H had say over me or Vince McMahon, I'd want to stay in NXT forever.
Yeah, obviously, but this is what the conversation turns into, the idea of why would someone want to go up? Because what makes sense to have that creative freedom and to be able to work at a super, super high level without being told how you should work. Because obviously developmental is basically you take these indie stars and you slow them down. You get them used to a more sports entertainment sort of setting and an approach and presentation. And then you throw them to the main roster. But what's happened is that once they go to the main roster, they get underbooked. They become basically jobbers, and not necessarily jobbers, but they become like enhancement for the main stars on the roster. And if we can go over, or even taken off TV, and if we can go over the last couple of guys that made it to the main roster, look how they turned out. And yes, Sami Zayn, I don't want you to turn into that. I don't want you to turn into Bo Dallas. Kevin Owens, I don't want you to turn into another Big E Langston. You look at Hideo, I don't want you to turn into another Adam Rose. All those.
I wouldn't say that. I'd say I don't want Hideo to turn into another.
Well, I'm not comparing like gimmicks. I'm just saying, I'm just going down the row of guys that had promise and then go to the main roster and become nothing.
When Hideo gets put up to the main roster, I think he's going to be treated as a joke anyway.
I think, but the thing is, we need to stop. They need to stop that. They need to stop that, like that cycle, because there's not one. The only person, and her booking has turned odd, where she was the anti-diva and now she's a total diva, but she's the only real person getting any kind of significant push is Paige. And all the male guys and Emma, take away the Santino booking and then take away the shoplifting incident, she still would have been enhancement for Brie Bella. It's just we need to stop that vicious cycle of taking those guys up and turning them into basic idiots. It's just not fair, but they want to get to that main roster because, fuck, man, like, that's a lot of money, man. That's so much more money. The pay raise is exponential. But that's a sacrifice.
Yeah. That's true. I don't know how much. I mean, I know the top tier guys make a lot of money. I don't know how much the lower card guys make, so I don't know if you can make that comparison. But I don't know how much they make exactly, so I can't really make it either. But I'm just saying.
Well, what happened?
I've heard from a couple sources that said that some of the guys that are on the lower card on the main roster don't make as much money as you think.
Well, they don't make as much money, but they make more money than people on the NXT roster. I bet you that much.
Well, yeah, I would have to believe that.
So that's what I'm saying. I imagine even being like, I don't know, fucking Heath Slater, that his income is exponentially larger than, say, even Finn Balor. Because here's the thing: what happens when you come to the main roster? At once upon a time, when they were doing the pay-per-views, and you made it to the card, or they would cipher, or if you didn't make it to the card, they would cipher out like whatever wallet throughout the main roster, because you were all part of it, whether you were enhancement, whether you were tied within the storyline to move towards, say, the big four, what have you. You still got a pay cut, but you have licensing, you have merch sales, you have ticket sales, you have a whole bunch of other things that tie into what the WWE main roster machine is, that actually helps your pay raise, even if you're not as over or not as pushed as a Daniel Bryan or a John Cena or Roman Reigns or Big Show. You know what I'm saying? So it sucks, but you know, that's what happens with those guys, and because they're on contract, I don't know if they're still. I guess it's till this day I still haven't really ultimately understood the contract system of the WWE. They're supposed to be contractors, but this and that and the other.
They're independent contractors, meaning that, from what I understand, they are under contract to where they can't go to another company and work there.
Uh-huh.
But as far as the contract goes, and like CM Punk, I think, talked about this, but he said that when he left, he was past his dates. So you only have to work, like, you're guaranteed, or on your contract, there's like a base number of days that you have to work. Once you pass those days, you don't have to work anymore.
Okay.
So you can just do whatever, you can just do what CM Punk did and then leave.
So, I guess, and then, so the second part of this, so, as a WWE talent, say you're on NXT and you're on contract to the WWE, you're like, if they call you up, you can't be like, nah, dude, I'm good, I'm gonna stay down at NXT. You're basically a soldier that has to basically go up against your will.
Well, yeah, because if you were to say no, I'm good down here, or if you were to even say I'm not ready when they think you're ready, then you'd be shooting yourself in the foot, and they wouldn't keep you down there, they would release you from your contract, so, most likely.
And then, like, you can't refuse the gimmick, so to speak. Like, you can't... So you're basically a soldier.
Pretty much.
And that's...
Because those guys are lower tier guys. They don't have say... They're not a John Cena, where they can do whatever the heck they want and have say and creative control over... So as
much as we would love to keep, see Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and Finn Balor and Hideo Itami really give us like these hellified great matches, great storytelling by the creator from from NXT, we want to keep them there, but when they go to that main spot, they kind of have no choice in the matter, and then becoming something less. I just go, man, like, it upsets me knowing that they're going to be stripped. We want to stay hopeful. I just say what we've experienced prior to other talents that's come up to the main roster, it just doesn't look good. Would you agree with that or disagree?
Yeah, because I brought this up on another podcast where Vince McMahon, and perfect example of this is the Ascension, where the Ascension was, well, they suck anyway, but that's not my point. My point is that the Ascension and NXT were basically two guys that were ass kickers, and then when they got brought up to the main roster, they got put with the shoulder pads and the
face paint
and all that stuff, and they were made as LOD 3000 or 4000, whatever you want to refer to them as, because that's what I do, or Legion of Demolition is something I refer to them as every once in a while. But my problem with guys that come up from NXT to the main roster is I wish Vince McMahon could take a guy for what he is in NXT and use him as he is on the main roster. Because the reason why these guys are failing in my eyes, is because they get so used to running a certain gimmick in NXT, and then when they get brought up to the main roster, they fail because the gimmick changed, and they don't know how to adapt to the change.
But the only one that's really failed coming up, I mean, in terms of a gimmick change, is Adam Rose.
But the Ascension is not going to work out either.
Yeah, well, because they're enhancement guys. They enhance a comeback for the basically for the comeback of the veterans, like in that one spot where they got beat down by all the old tag teams. Now
I'm not supposed to take them seriously because they already got beat up.
And then they put money in the New Age Outlaws' pockets, and their last job was basically to advance the storyline between Cody and Dustin. And this is what they're used for. And the last time I remember someone doing that was Curtis Axel. And his advancement of basically when he had the Intercontinental Championship and he was working with Paul Heyman, he was advancing at least 4 different storylines at once. And, it was never about him. It was about advancing every other storyline. And I feel like this is this is what's happening to the Ascension right now, to where that's all they're really going to get out of them. They didn't make TV last week. I don't know if they were on SmackDown or what, but
I think they were.
Yeah, but I
don't know. I don't watch SmackDown anymore. So.
Yeah. Oh well. But nevertheless, what do you feel was the best match on the card, the Takeover card?
Adrian Neville, Finn Balor.
Okay.
Or Balor or whatever. I mean, there was some really good matches, but that would be my pick if I had to pick one straight out.
Okay, mine was the Divas 4-Way.
Okay.
I think, something that's been happening in the world of the Smart Mark is that, and I don't want to jump on this bandwagon, but I feel like it needs to be addressed as that, man, in terms of the Divas wrestling, it's looking good. I mean, because if you look at the main roster, it's bad. I mean, like, you take the most promising person, Paige, and then you take someone like what's her name?
Emma?
Natalia.
Okay.
And Emma, and they're not made to look strong, or even Alicia Fox. I mean, who are great, and they're just made to look like idiots to like someone who is small as AJ, And as much as I like Paige, she shouldn't be whooping up on Natty. She's just too. I mean, Natty's just too muscular. And where the fuck is Jimmy Flash Snooker's daughter? Like, where the fuck is she?
Tamina?
Yeah, where the fuck is Tamina?
I don't know. But you mentioned AJ. She could stay away from for as long as she wants.
I've never been an AJ fan. She's too small. Like, it's nothing that's going to convince me that she's any good. But she knows how to work a ring. She knows a couple of moves, what have you. But you look at this Fatal 4-Way, and you look at Becky Lynch. You look at Charlotte Flair. You look at Bayley, and you look at Sasha Banks. Like, and you look at that match, dude, they were going at it, and they didn't miss a beat. I thought
it was probably the best executed Fatal 4-Way I've ever seen in my life.
Hey, now.
And that covers a lot of ground.
Hey, now, the Fatal 4-Way from the last Takeover was...
No, that one was good too, but I'm just saying they utilized each person. Everybody got equal use.
And they told a story. The story.
It's not very often you can tell a story that good with 4 people in the ring. and that's what I was able to appreciate about it.
And they advanced so many storylines. And, you take someone like Bayley, who actually, like, became, like, a bit of the focal point because of her soft, sort of sweet, sort of girly attitude, and she turned into a fucking beast. And just her showing her aggression, and just you could tell that she really wanted to be the champion. And then you take someone like Becky Lynch, who's basically the Sandow, of Sasha Banks, and she basically stood up for herself. And then you look at Charlotte and how she wanted to maintain her sense of dominance. And then you look at Sasha Banks, who's just I don't know why she's over. People are cheering her because she's kind of conniving. But for her to be a real asshole and to basically do everything conniving in the match, and then to basically take the victory from Bayley, as a heel, just fuck this bitch, all those things were told, and then the execution of the moves, and honestly, I think won the crowd over more than say what happened with the Kevin Owens Sami Zayn match. Just move for move.
Yeah.
It floored me. Do you have anything more to say on it?
No, not really. I'm just glad to see Sasha Banks won. I heard her parents were there, so that's really cool to see. Charlotte's had it long enough. I think she's going to get called up to the main roster. The only person, realistically, that I didn't see winning the match was Becky Lynch.
Obviously. Because
they didn't give you a reason to say, oh, she could possibly win. They just kind of threw her in there.
But she has some good spots. She has some great spots, though. Amazing spots.
But I'm just saying, prior to that,
she's strong as fuck. Do you remember that one? It was she just takes. Who did she take? Oh yeah, it was Sasha Banks. It was that moment where I think Sasha Banks was bitching at her about how she was supposed to win, right?
Yeah.
And she turns her back and she just grabs her, puts her arm under her legs, and just throws her a good 6 meters.
Yeah.
Just tosses her belly to back, just tosses her ass. And she did it again she did that same move with Charlotte. So it's this girl has Cesaro strength, this weird country strong thing going on that is just amazing to see. I think
she's a beast.
I think she even did a out of the ring suplex on somebody. I think it was Sasha Banks that she did it on. It's yo, I hope they focus on how strong this chick is, here on out. But the storyline is just her standing up for herself against Sasha Banks, and I think they told that story really well.
Yeah, I would agree. Again, I didn't see her winning it, but I'm glad to see the spots that she got in the match. And everything she did meant something and was effective. And I think coming out of the match, it makes me wonder if they're going to continue, because there's so many ways with 4 women that you can go once you're out of a match like this. Because Charlotte's obviously going to get a rematch. Bayley probably might get a shot at the title again soon, but the real story here, to me, is what they do with Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch going forward, because I don't think that's going to be over.
She's going to have become more conniving. I didn't agree with her getting cheered for as basically the asshole of the bunch. It's nothing hip about her,
But that's the thing about the Full Sail crowd. They won't cheer you if you're a face or a heel. They'll cheer you if they like you.
Well, they cheer Finn Balor, which because
he's a good guy.
Yeah, but we're gonna move to that, the Neville Baylor, Balor, however you want to fucking pronounce it.
It's Baylor, I think. I have no
idea. Give me your thoughts on that, being that that's your favorite. That was your favorite match.
Yeah, I just thought it flowed really well. The two just kicked the shit out of each other, and everything was in that match meant something. I really liked the finish. It was kind of out of nowhere, but I saw it coming with the double foot stomp.
Well, he hit the second double foot stomp.
Yeah, I just thought it was a really well executed match.
Where do we go with Neville now? Because he
main roster.
Oh.
There's nothing left for him to do in NXT. This was, I think, Neville losing here and Charlotte losing in the previous match were their exits to the main roster. So I think in the coming weeks, maybe even months, well, at least, or at most a month, we'll see them both on the main roster.
Well, it would be the day after WrestleMania, obviously. It's not like they're going to jump on the cards on the road to WrestleMania.
Well, yeah, they shouldn't, because they've done that before and they get phased out really quickly.
Yeah. And if lucky, not get fired.
Yep.
What is it? The day after WrestleMania is like Future Endeavors Day. That'd be something.
Yep.
That'd be something.
Or if you're Rhino, he got fired during the weekend of WrestleMania 21.
Damn.
But now he's back in NXT. I don't know if you read that.
No.
Yeah, he showed up at a taping along with the Brian Kendrick.
No.
And they wrestled. So I think Rhino might be a regular in NXT now, which is weird because it's a developmental.
Yeah, I think
company.
It's just a paycheck.
Well, it's a paycheck, but I think he's going to be used to make guys look good. So, as a gatekeeper, so that's fine with me. Not necessarily
speaking of gatekeepers, but at the gate of NXT TakeOver, we have Owens versus Zayn. And your thoughts? Do you think it lived up to...
I've seen a lot of mixed reviews on this. And while we're doing this, I might as well plug something. I wrote a review for this entire show.
Yeah, go for it, bro.
It was 10 pages long in Word. It took 2 hours to write. But if you want to read it, I'm with Eyes on the Ring. We just launched our brand new website over at eyesonthering.com. And it was the first, all of our old stuff from the Blogspot website is on there. But the first thing that was posted on the new website is this review for NXT TakeOver. So if you want my full thoughts, because I can't give everything here, and I can't remember off the top of my head what I rated certain matches, because I did give star ratings and stuff like that.
It's 10 fucking pages, bro.
But yeah, but if you want my full thoughts on the show, go there and read up. And then holler at me on Twitter at Headliner5, that's the number 5, and let me know what you think.
Well, also, send me a link to that again, like we did last time. Just send me all the links and I'll post it so I could redirect our listeners to what your post on Eyes on the Ring.
Okay.
If you could just fancy them just a little bit to just give them a taste, I guess we'll go back and forth in terms of this conversation. I'll give my thoughts on it.
Okay.
I think, to me, I don't know whether they were telling a story or not in terms of in the ring and how it led to this finish, or if you're talking about the match itself, because, I didn't go in thinking it was going to be like a spot fest, but I think there was so much on the ground stuff. Like when Owens basically controlled the match, it was just punches and kicks. Not a lot of holds, but like if there was a hold, it'd be just kind of like a simple headlock or a lock, or you didn't. The fact that Zayn was held down for the entire time, you didn't get a lot of fast pace. It was really, I guess, if you appreciate, which is so against, say, what the smart marks or people who are really into like spot fests or fans of PWG or ROH, it was a very slow, monotonous match. I mean, it was like Arn Anderson style. Like,
yeah,
it was not pretty.
It wasn't like their match at Final Battle at in Ring of Honor, because that's probably the best match that they've had.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, and I noticed this during the match when I was watching it, when I was watching it, they seem to follow the format of Brock Lesnar, John Cena.
Yes.
Whereas Zayn played the role of John Cena,
yes.
and he's great at that because Zayn is a sympathetic babyface.
And he sells like a fucking champ.
He's a great seller, and Kevin Owens, is just this beast of a guy who can kill you, and I just thought it was fantastic, and he just destroyed the hell out of Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
And
what did you think about the finish?
I was fine with it.
You think it was needed? Because apparently Sami Zayn is going to go on tour. He's actually coming to India or something. They're going.
Yes.
And
they needed to take the title off of him, from what I know, so that they had the champion on the next tapings.
Do you think it's a matter of taking the belt off of him, or having him like destroyed and taken off TV for a while?
Well, I think what it is having the belt taken off of him, and them, since he got destroyed, them not having him on TV for the whole month. Because if you look at the tapings, he's not on there.
Yeah.
For the whole month, and a lot of I looked at him on Lords of Pain. I scrolled down to the comments because that always entertains me. People were whining because they're like, "Oh, Sami Zayn's not on the tapings." And it's like, well, he just got the crap kicked out of him. Of course, he's not going to be on the tapings, you marks.
And and you know what? And poor them. They're left with Kevin Owens and Finn Balor and fucking Hideo Itami. Poor guys. They're just left with those bums. Like, come on, give me something else, man. Like, we're left with these guys.
Yeah. Tough world we live in when it comes to NXT.
That ending. I think the ending, the way when he hit his head, doing that flip outside the ring, and then the capitalization, that how Owens capitalized on the back of his head, and it turned into a super vicious, like, and then the guys coming in and him just like, fuck that, I'm gonna destroy this guy. He drops him, they shoot the crowd, and like them basically calling the match. Like, the referee became part of the story. He's looking at the guys in the black, like the guys in the black gloves. He's looking at them like, what do I do? Like, he was, that was, in itself it was great storytelling. They shot the crowd, and they shot this one girl. Like, what the fuck? Like, come on! Like, the way they called it at the end, it really made Kevin Owens into this really fucking force to deal with. One
thing that I saw on Twitter today, you remember at WrestleMania when the streak ended, and there's a guy. Well, they cut to a bunch of different people, but there was this one guy who had his hands on his head, and his eyes were wide, like.
Oh, talking the black dude?
No, this guy was white.
Okay. Oh, the other guy. Yeah.
Yeah, his hands were on his head, and so it had a picture of that guy and then Brock Lesnar, and then at the bottom it had a picture of another guy at the NXT show with his hands on his head in the same pose, and then Kevin Steen with his hand or Kevin Owens with his hand raised. So it's like, I wonder if that was intentional, like if they tried to tell that story, or if it was just something that was very subtle that we as smarks happen to realize or pick up on.
But you know what it turns into, though? Like, it's just certain reactions to things that we collectively do at the same time. Like, when something happens, how do we always make the same sound? Like, if like in a basketball game or something happens and we all react the same way, it's not that because why don't people react differently at the same time to the same thing? And I feel like that guy grabbing his head and putting it like that is just like, is the expression of that we do subconsciously. It's how we react to a certain situation like that when someone is being like brutalized.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's just it. Like, so I think about dumb things like that sometimes. Like, how do we know just to go ooh at the same time at a certain event? Why don't we? Yeah. So that's how I see that sort of thing going down. I think I would react the same way. I think I would just put my head over my hands, as like, oh, the agony, like.
Yeah.
So basically, that's what it is. If you want to, like, something I've noticed about wrestling fans is that we do nitpick over the smallest things and try to make them to a big of a deal than they actually are. And I see what this guy's doing, whoever posted this photo, but I don't see.
Are you looking at the photo that I'm referring to?
Yeah,
now?
The photo you're referring
to.
I don't think as much as of a comparison to the reaction, as much as what you're doing right now is you're comparing Kevin Owens to Brock Lesnar. And I think within terms of the storyline, and you even brought it up earlier, the comparison to this match versus this Kevin Owens Zayn match to Brock Lesnar Cena, and the first comparison someone could come up with is the brutality of Owens to the brutality of Brock Lesnar is that they did one hell of a job.
Yeah.
To do that. And that's not too shabby. That's basically it. And before we move out of the NXT realm, and I just want your yes or no answer and a quick response because we're gonna need to move forward. And this is like this idea. Do you think it's two parts? Do you think the idea of a reincarnation of the Undertaker would work, being that he's old, he's on his way out? He's undead, he's the dead man. So he never really lives or dies, you know what I'm saying? Or do you think a gimmick of a reincarnation into of a younger body, I guess it's been done in like animes and movies where you take this spirit and he basically forms whoever he enters their bodies. I'm trying to think of like a really good example of that in maybe like a movie, you watched Dragon Ball Z, right? Not Dragon Ball, I apologize. Nataro?
No. I don't watch any of that crap.
Oh, come on, it's not crap, I love it. But there's this one, and I guess who's ever listening, if they do watch anime, there's this one villain called Orochama, I can never say his name, Orochama, where he's a person who basically, he finds people, I guess vehicles, I guess they would call vehicles or what have you, and he would take their bodies, and that would be him again in a younger state, right?
Yeah.
I wonder, could that gimmick work with the Undertaker going into supposedly entering another vehicle and he become basically the new Undertaker? Or would that be too much for a wrestling fan?
I think the idea is there, but I think if they did something like that, it would be... We already have to suspend disbelief in order to believe what we're seeing is real or somewhat real, because we know it's fake or scripted, whatever you want to call it. But I think something like that would be would be overstepping bounds.
But what about but don't you think the Undertaker itself is like an outlier to that idea, that we do take his gimmick as it is what it is, like he's a zombie, right?
Yeah.
And for some reason it's over. So beyond, say, the Daniel Bryans and the John Cenas and them not being, I guess right now, they're not considered supernatural in storyline and character and gimmick.
Well, John Cena is.
Oh, stop it.
Because he's Superman.
He's a superhero. That's not like supernatural.
Yeah, that's true.
The only thing we got as close now is Bray Wyatt. But like, you really think the fact that we take on his supernatural gimmick, that something as supernatural as a reincarnation couldn't attribute?
No, I don't. I mean, and you bring up the Baron Corbin Undertaker comparison.
Yes, and Baron Corbin could be that guy.
I would do that with Bray Wyatt.
Aesthetically, the thing is, aesthetically, I feel like Baron Corbin.
Do you know how old Baron Corbin is?
He's younger than Undertaker.
Yeah, but not. He's like in his early 30s.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but when you hit your late 30s, that's when you start to peak and then phase out. For most people, if they don't make it to the if they get to the main event, sure, but if they don't and they're stuck in the mid card, then most of them retire because they realize that they're not going to be able to make it past mid card. I'm not sure where Baron Corbin's going to end up, but it's hard to say what they can do with him.
Okay.
I mean, I like the guy. Don't get me wrong. I think the guy's great, but I don't think if I were to take him and try to do some Undertaker character with him, I could accept it, but he's not the first choice of a guy that I would do it with.
Mm-hmm. I was just thinking aesthetically. Say take this, and I'll run through this, and we'll go to the next topic. Like,
okay.
Say take all right, he's at NXT and he's probably lost. He probably loses to say Kevin Owens or something like that. I'm just throwing the name out there, and he's defeated, and he's just sitting on the mat. All of a sudden, the lights go out, and basically Undertaker just shows up at Full Sail, like in full gimmick, right? This is fantasy booking, totally fantasy booking, and no one expects it. He just kind of walks out. He grabs Corbin by the hand, helps him up. Now he doesn't even touch him. Corbin just stands up, and they just stare at each other. Taker just turns his back, walks away, as in like, follow me. He turns his back, like his back's to him, and then he turns his head. He's like looking at him, and it's understood it just follow, right? And he just goes into the back, never to be seen for like a couple of months. What I'm saying, like 2-3 months. And then,
sure.
You know what I'm saying? And then like I guess we all have this understanding that the Undertaker is just basically to take him under his wing and just train him. And then they show up at Over the Limit or some shit like that. Like Money in the Bank. And as this moment of the Undertaker is this sort of what a guy called a Sid, this Sid sort of costume, and he's bringing out his reincarnation, which is the Undertaker as Baron Corbin. I just think it would work. Whoever's listening, you can say, Peter, shut the fuck up. You know what you fucking talk about. I just think it's just a cool idea to do. That's all. And I just wanted to...
And I can't get behind it personally because... Undertaker, okay, I'm not going to get too much into this because we really need to move on.
Yeah.
But the Undertaker loss at WrestleMania, I don't even want to see him wrestle Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania this year if that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it. Because, they could build a story, and there's a possibility that Bray Wyatt will beat The Undertaker, but it's not going to mean as much because Undertaker already lost. It's like, if you're going to lose, he had a shitty match because he got hurt, but you lost, and they always say in the business the best way to go out is on a loss.
Mm-hmm.
So if he comes back and wins, then what was the point of him losing?
Mm-hmm.
But another thing I've heard too is that he's going to try to hang on until WrestleMania 32 and then retire in Texas.
Mm-hmm. And this is
when they're in front of 100,000 fans.
And it's in his backyard, right?
Yeah.
And this is a supposed match with Sting.
The match that no one wants to see?
I mean, I would like to see it.
I don't. The vignettes and stuff would be cool, but the match would suck.
I think it happened, the whole, it happened versus the actual in-ring work.
It should have happened in 2001.
I hear you on that.
I don't need to see it in 2015 or 16, so that's just me.
I would I think I wouldn't breathe the entire time because I would just be so I would just be locked in so hard. But nevertheless, I just thought I'd bring it.
But if that match happened, the combined age of both guys in the ring would be over 100 years old.
Sweet.
Not really.
I wouldn't want to see a Hogan match. That's all I would. They said it's Hogan versus Cena thing. That's the one I wouldn't want to see. Watch Hogan go out there and die. I don't see Taker dying. I don't see Sting dying, but I definitely see Hogan going out there and croaking on a fucking what do you call it, STF? Yeah. He'd probably break him in half. Yeah. Or the fisherman carry. What the fuck is that called? The
attitude adjustment?
Yeah. Just as soon as he hits the mat, he just doesn't stand up. He just does not get up. He just flatlines after a fucking attitude adjustment. But moving on, let's talk about the WWE. And okay, you're not too excited about this, but I would like your opinion on this Bryan versus Reigns feud that's leading up to Fastlane, and how do you see the finish at Fastlane?
Bottom line, people are getting their hopes up that Bryan's going to win. It's not going to happen.
Oh yeah, of course.
Reigns is going to win probably by the spear, and that's going to be it. And then I know people are hoping that there's going to be a schmaz finish and that we'll get somehow a fatal four-way at Mania. Because I've heard they're not going to do another triple threat, but I heard there's a possibility they could do Bryan versus Reigns versus Lesnar versus Rollins. But
I wouldn't want that, honestly.
I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
And
you remember when that Marquis showed up promoting WrestleMania? This is 31 at the Levi Center. Did you remember seeing that marquee that was up, them promoting at the entrance?
Yeah.
And there was all this speculation that, like, I think even WWE said it was like a edited thing, that they didn't put that up there. That was some fan. It's like, wait a minute, no one didn't.
Oh, you mean on the side of the arena? Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like the truck that showed up with SmackDown returning to Thursdays. Like, no, like that's out there. Like that's y'all did that. Like, why y'all trying to turn it on its head? Like, you knew all along that this was going to be the thing. Y'all already fucking drew that up and gave it to them to promote. And the backlash at the Royal Rumble is when they started backpedaling on it, which is weird. You can't blame Levi Center. They took their orders. You know?
Yeah.
To put that up to promote on their behalf, that's the WWE's part, like, kind of dumb to have them already promote at the Levi Center that WrestleMania with the marquee being Reigns and Lesnar. But it just goes to show they already had up in their mind that was going to take place. They're not changing.
Well, we knew that. Like, I'm not sure if we talked about it on here, but I remember saying on Eyes on the Ring that once, like, if you watch the Royal Rumble back, once Daniel Bryan was so unceremoniously dumped from the ring like a sack of trash.
No, he wasn't. Who?
Daniel Bryan.
Well, he was just, not like a sack of trash. He was actually, it was more like an uneventful bump off the fucking, off the...
Yeah. Well, okay, Ziggler was later jumped by like a sack of trash, and
Wyatt too.
But yeah, Wyatt as well. But as soon as Bryan got eliminated, if you didn't see who was going to win, you're an idiot.
Oh yeah, of course.
I mean, yeah, people were holding out hope that Ziggler was going to somehow win. That's not going to happen.
No, it was all Reigns. They had to follow up on last year's Mania and him throwing out.
Yeah, and just last year they gave in to the fans' demands that Bryan be added to the main event. This year they're not going to do that.
Oh hell no! And here's my theory. I think what's going to happen, which is going to be weird, because it seems like him as this snarky guy, like even him telling, I am the better wrestler, you know, I just feel like there's a potential heel turn, maybe, a potential heel turn in him just being like a snarky sort of asshole, like holier than thou kind of figure. But you talk about like a weird finish to the fast lane. I see a Sheamus involvement. I see Sheamus coming in and basically going after Bryan, having him basically give him a bro kick. Then he catches a spear from Reigns and wins. And then we will get, this is what I talked about in the last podcast, and we will get the match that we were supposed to get last year at WrestleMania with Bryan and Sheamus as heel.
I figured they were going to do that anyway.
Isn't that...
Because Vince seems hell-bent on giving us that match.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Talk about, like... What's the word? Like... I'm trying to come up with the word. Like, how erotic is that? Right? To where...
If they did that, I would actually be fine with it. If they did Sheamus Daniel Bryan, I would be perfectly fine with it.
Me too.
And there's a reason why.
Especially as Sheamus is a heel. Yeah,
I would be perfectly fine with it because then Daniel Bryan could get revenge for his 18-second loss.
Exactly.
At WrestleMania 28.
Exactly.
Because it's like, okay, that match was originally supposed to happen. I don't know if you remember this far back. That match was supposed to happen at WrestleMania 27. Sheamus versus Bryan. They put it on the day of the show. They announced on, I read it on lordsofpain.net. They scrapped the match, or they didn't scrap the match, but they moved it to the pre-show. And what happened was there was a bunch of shenanigans during the match, so that match turned from Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan into a battle royal. That was completely pointless. And then they again did the match a year later, and that was WrestleMania 28, the 18-second finish.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they were going to do the match anyway at 28. I thought the way they did it, looking back at it, was fine because we eventually got the ascension of Daniel Bryan.
Yes.
And that's the night that the Yes movement really started.
Mm-hmm.
And now, if they do Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan this year, I'd be fine with it because the story writes itself.
Yes, it does.
So it's like, and I've heard that they want to do Ziggler Bryan.
No,
I'd be fine with that too, but I wouldn't be so invested in it.
No, it's not that they want to do it. That was just something that was like some Twitter shit. That was just between Bryan and Ziggler sort of pumping, beating their sort of work rate chest at each other, and it turned it to a story amongst us marks to make it seem like a big deal. I don't think it's anything in the works for WWE to give us that ever. I think a lot of people got fooled by it. The WWE never gave a nay or say, yay or nay to the idea, but which actually increased the speculation to it. But there was no at all. I mean, we would know about it already if that was the case. We would have heard about it through Dave Meltzer or something like that, under a Wade Keller, in that case. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was just a Twitter thing. It's like,
yeah.
And I hate that. I hate this. I hate it so much. This sort of snarky work rate, comparison of, say, what these guys can do in the ring and how WWE wants to, handle the business. It could improve, obviously, but dude, like, just let these guys run their business the way they want to run it. I mean, obviously, you want to keep the fans in mind because traditionally it's about what the fans want, but it ain't how it is now. You got what you got last year with Bryan being part of the main event, winning the title, but he hurt himself. And you know what? The WWE had to basically clean up after that mess. And I don't think they're they're willing to risk it doing that again ever. If they're going to get behind Roman Reigns, they're going to get.
They did it with Austin.
Well, Austin's another breed, man.
But Daniel Bryan.
No, don't do that. Don't you fucking dare.
What?
Do not put Daniel Bryan in the same breath as Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I'm not. I'm just saying there's a slight comparison there that they gave Steve Austin a chance or another chance after he got hurt. If they gave Steve Austin a chance, they can give anybody a chance.
But you know what though? The difference between that and then they had a backup plan. And you know what that backup plan was?
But guess what?
That backup plan was fucking The Rock. You right? And it's like, and Triple H, you know? Who's the backup? Who's the backup?
Rollins.
Huh? Rollins is it. Well, we're going to talk about that. and how it could affect his future, but no. Their backup plan right now is Roman Reigns. And you know what? You know, they can do what they want. They got Rollins, Orton coming back, and you know, he's still got some unfinished business. I think he's gonna be propelled. He's gonna get another push, which I guess we're all sitting back waiting for, but I don't know. We'll see. Cena's booking and him being pushed, because I think the last time we talked,
we jumped over Rollins because you wanted to touch on something about that.
I don't want to touch on what. I think touch is the
about
wrong.
What happened on Monday?
I know. I think touching on is a bad lead into what we want to talk about.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that wording, but
yeah, I guess his story. I was gonna get to that last. Take out like a couple of other things.
Okay.
But like Cena's push as an old man, being pushed as an old man, and your thoughts on that kind of booking, because we talked about that. I think the last time I talked about it, it was during the the SmackDown review, and how subconsciously I was seeing Cena as, you know, it was the first time I subconsciously was like, man, this guy does look old, and I think it's becoming a problem to other people because they're being affected the same way. When a guy is only 37 and he still leads in merchandise sales, and he's still the top guy, regardless of where he is on the card. Your thoughts on that? And do you think they're doing him an injustice? Is the WWE booking this the way they should?
I think, well, first of all, I think Cena's great. And I think that they're finally getting to the point where they're realizing that John Cena is getting older, so they're phasing him out of the main event, and then they're trying to find his replacement. I think Cena knows that. I think Cena's perfectly fine with that, because at the end of the day, he's a company man, and he wants to do, as cliche as it sounds, what's best for business. He's had his time in the sun. He's had 15 world title reigns. I don't know if he'll get the 16th. I'd like him to, because I want the internet to explode. But I think at this point we're past seeing him in the main event, and I think he's ready to kind of bow out and let the younger guys take the reins, no pun intended.
I know, right?
And then kind of guide them along the way, because even when he retires from the ring and he's not around, he's still going to be around, because he'll be with that company or he'll have something to do with that company until the day he dies. And
you got to take into consideration, man, that he is the guy of this generation. Like,
yes,
there's a lot of fans that are going to get, you know, they're going to become our age, and they're going to become, you know, 40.
He's their Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, they're Hulk Hogan, they're Ultimate Warrior, they're Bruno Sammartino. And as much as like these marks, I always talk, because I'm a mark, I always talk of, you know how like you have certain people in the media that address the media in third person, like, well, the media. It's like, no, like, You're the media. Don't talk about the media like you're not connected. Same thing with me and being a mark, but I like to think of myself as a rational mark. You know, I'm rational. I think you are as well sometimes.
Hey.
But
I'm a logical mark. There's a difference.
But he's I think at some point, let's just say this. Do you see the WWE actually going back to him? Like, if you're a betting man, and you know, if you're a betting man, what is the ratio? What are the odds? What's the over under on the idea that Cena would actually end up being like a main eventer over all the rest of the roster, say come Dallas?
If Roman Reigns gets hurt, they would go with John Cena because he's always been their backup plan because he's always there. And
you know who Cena's backup plan is? John Cena is John Cena's backup plan.
Exactly. They don't have a backup plan for when John Cena gets hurt. You've seen, like, when he does get hurt, how fast he gets there because he knows that the company can't survive without him.
Yeah.
So, and I think Vince put, like, that shoulder surgery he had, he was out for 3 weeks. I think Vince put tremendous pressure on him just to get back in time to do a match. I believe it was at Hell in a Cell. And it's like, yeah, he can't be out for a significant amount of time. I think he was out for 4 months at one time, and the product sucked.
They did a pay-per-view. It was like the Christmas one. I think it was a Elimination Chamber, maybe? Was it? What was it? Because I remember...
It wasn't Elimination Chamber because I was at that show.
Because I remember the promotion, because it started off as a night before Christmas. It was a night before Christmas, and all through the arena, not a wrestler, was turning, not even John Cena. And it was like this... I remember it as like it was yesterday. And it was basically the pay-per-view that was without John Cena. And the ratings were so bad because of it. And it was like, I don't know if it was part of the injury that he was gone, or it was maybe...
You're not talking about the ECW pay-per-view?
No. I'm talking about, like, this was maybe like 3 years ago. I think the main event... I think the main event was like Alberto Del Rio and Ryback. It was CM Punk and Ryback.
That was at Hell in a Cell.
And Cena wasn't at that one.
No, he wasn't. But
that's the one. Okay.
But Punk was injured at that time too.
Yeah.
Because that was during his 434-day run as champion, and Ryback injured him because Ryback's an idiot. But
that was the Rogue referee match.
Yeah, with Brad Maddox.
Yes, with Brad Maddox. Yeah, but but it just goes to show that it was the poorest draw of any pay-per-view ever because he was off of it. So it just goes to show.
No, it wasn't ever.
Well, I mean, it's damn near.
The lowest buy rate in WWE history is Survivor Series 2013.
Okay, so let's just say it's in the top fucking 3. It was bad. It was really bad. Not bad like Michael Jackson bad, but like bad, like in a bad way bad. But
are you talking like child molester bad? Or
oh no, we're not gonna. Bad? No, we're not going there. Stop, dude. That's fucked up. I remember me saying this was gonna be our last time. But so you agree with it? You agree with the push? I mean, this old man. Do you think they're gonna get out of it at some point? Do you think they're just gonna do this old man just with the right Rusev? Because I see Rusev kicking his ass at Mania.
I don't.
They better do it.
I think Cena's winning.
All right. Well, yeah. You don't bet against Cena. That's what Jake always does. He's like, never bet against Cena.
Exactly. Jake's a smart dude.
Yeah, and speaking of smart dudes, someone who isn't that smart is Seth Rollins. We're going to get to that. And how do you feel this is going to affect his career?
don't know per se. I don't have a crystal ball in front of me.
Come on, man.
But
ball? No, really? That's the word you're going to use?
The only thing I'm going to say is he's not going to cash in Money in the Bank successfully.
Ooh.
He's going to be a John Cena and a Damien Sandow and lose it.
Oh, you going there? You think they're going to really rib him for that?
I think what they planned on doing, this is how I saw it playing out in my head. Because even if Reigns won the title, because think about this, they haven't done Reigns versus Rollins in a full feud since the Shield broke up. Mm-hmm. They would have a perfect opportunity to do it at the end of WrestleMania. Because what if, let's say, Reigns wins the title, God forbid, but he wins the title, and then Rollins immediately cashes in. They've never had a cash in at Mania. I think they'd want to do it because it would be something that's never been done before. Mm-hmm. And I could have saw Rollins win the title. But now, with this whole scandal, and Triple H talked about it on the conference call that he was on, but he kind of grazed over it. And didn't really touch on it too much.
He pulled back and didn't touch on it too much.
I said bad wording again. But
you're the best, man.
Yeah. But where was I going? You just
I'm saying the conference call. He scaled back on it.
Okay, so, but yeah, I would have had this not happened. Then yeah, sure, Rollins would have probably beaten Roman Reigns at the conclusion of WrestleMania to win the title, and then we would get Rollins versus Reigns.
But that all hinges on the future of Brock Lesnar.
I think either way, if Brock Lesnar signs a new contract, he's still going to lose the title.
Oh, wow. They need to get that belt back on TV. I think it's run its course to be off TV.
It's because by the time he loses it, it'll be off TV for 8 months.
Wow.
Because he won it at SummerSlam. But I think this whole scandal with Mr. Rollins is going to ruin his push, and they're not going to... I mean, people are saying, we might see him back in Ring of Honor because they're going to ruin him. I don't think they're going to do that.
His push at 100%. His push at 100%. Where does his push go? To what percent?
He loses Money in the Bank.
But just say a number, like a percentile of from 100 to what?
I can't give you a percentile.
It's like 85%, 75%, 45%?
Probably 50%, because I could see him losing the Money in the Bank and then winning the Intercontinental title.
So he goes off. He goes from a triangle, like a triple threat match with Brock Lesnar and John Cena. He goes from that to basically fighting Titus O'Neil. That's what you're saying.
I wouldn't say Titus O'Neil per se, but maybe Tyson Kidd, who's a mid-carder, or somebody like that.
I think the average Mark would enjoy that because, it would be a great match between two awesome athletes. But I guess the point I was making, would he go from being, basically in the main roster spot in the main events to a sub, below mid-card feud?
Probably.
It would eventually happen, scandal or non-scandal, but for his push to be pushed so hard, for this to go down, and then basically face fucking The Miz would be I would say that's from 100 to like 30% of the push. That would be pretty drastic. Especially
if they put him with The Miz because he's trash.
And as a heel, as probably the most dastardly heel on the roster right now, a guy you actually boo. I just think that would be a shame. I mean, make your point, but this has nothing to do with this is a hacker's problem. This is due to a hacker, not to anything that Rollins did, wanted to expose, and I think that's unfair I mean, it's a shame. I mean, he you made your bed, you lie in it, right?
Yeah. And another thing I saw brought up is this Zahara, whatever her name was.
Yeah.
She's not even on the roster yet. She's probably gonna get fired like right away.
She's gonna get fired before she's gonna get fired on her day off.
Yeah. But Seth Rollins won't get fired, but I don't know what they're gonna do with him. Yeah,
they're gonna get her as far away from that dude as possible. And it's unfair, like they want to play a little bit, and maybe the scandal itself is because what? This shit was going on while he was engaged?
That's the rumor.
Yeah. Damn, dude. That sucks, dude.
Yep.
That sucks. Well, just moving on. Just to,
What the fuck is going on?
What?
Oh, sorry. I'm getting a bunch of notifications through Twitter that were like from days ago. Like as we're talking, so I'm like, what the hell's going on right now?
I hear your shit buzzing. I'm thinking it's like,
I'm getting like a million different notifications from stuff I've already seen. It's weird.
Whatever, technology. So just two things before we move forward, because we've got good time. But I guess this would be dude, turn off the fucking buzzer.
I can't.
God, it's not your vibrator, is it?
No, it's fucking iPhone.
Because you remember when the vibrator was in the Seth Rollins briefcase?
Yeah, that was the dumbest thing
Holy
ever.
shit, that explains a lot now.
Yeah, that was stupid.
That explains a lot now. Oh, okay, never mind. So apparently Chael Sonnen is Sonnen. He's meeting up with WWE to become a commentator, not necessarily a in-ring performer, but as a commentator. He's going to be at all the next WWE events, and he's meeting with Kevin Dunn to possibly become a commentator. So if that ever goes into effect, where do you see him going, and what impact do you think he would make?
I don't think he would make, wherever he goes, I don't think he would make much impact. Are you talking like the main shows or like Raw?
Any show. If he showed up on NXT, if he showed up on SmackDown.
If he showed up on NXT, I think he would be fine. If he shows up on Raw or SmackDown, he's going to get lost in the shuffle, and he's not going to be able to help much.
Okay, because the shuffling.
Because the guys who commentate on Raw and SmackDown are idiots.
You know what I would like to see him? I would love to see him as a referee.
I wouldn't buy that. He's too big.
I know, but say you take like incidences where where was it when it was a week ago where the wrestler wouldn't get up. That's what it was. It was Rusev versus Eric Rowan, and that incident where he just locked on to Rowan, just would not get off his ass.
Yeah.
And it was like this really uneasy, very like eerie, very it was just odd moment where you just were left with like this referee just going, get off of him, come on, get off of him, get off of him, get off. I just thought it was very weird. It's like, well, he could be an enforcer type of dude. He could be like Rick Knox,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if you don't think he'll make much of an impact, I have nothing much to say on it. I know he's controversial in terms of like the fact he has a big mouth and he can come off and say some like really, like, I guess you would say, controversial things and speak the truth, or through his scope of understanding, and maybe a lot of MMA fans would come over just to see how he would just bury the WWE.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, if you don't see anything really coming out of it, just being like a publicity stunt,
yeah, I really don't know.
Like CM Punk going to the MMA and that being talks, be like MMA coming to the WWE, and
there was talks of him coming to the WWE years ago, and it never happened.
Yeah. But he was making too much money in UFC, man. This guy, I don't think anyone still make more money than him. Has ever made as much money as him.
I don't think he could handle the WWE schedule.
Oh, that too. Even as a commentator?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess at any capacity, I'll be curious to see how they would just work him in. But nevertheless. And then one more thing before we're gonna skip some things and go straight to Lucha. After this, speaking of Lucha, but the WWE looking for a new Hispanic star. And before we started recording, you definitely had your instant reaction to it. What do you think? And explain.
I think they have their they were looking for it in Sin Cara 1, who is now Mestiz's in CMLL.
Mm-hmm.
Because when Sin Cara got signed to WWE, or Sin Cara 1 got signed to WWE, they replaced the Mystico character because he drew money because he sold masks. So now they have a Mystico character who's not the original Mystico, because it was Sin Cara, and now Sin Cara is going as Mestiz's or something weird. Mm-hmm. It's got a lot of Z's in it. But he never really panned out. And I know that they were probably looking for him to be the Rey Mysterio replacement, because Rey Mysterio at this point has no kneecaps. And
he doesn't even have cap locks on his fucking computer keyboard.
Yeah, but I think
like that's how bad his caps are. Like, he got no caps. Like, nothing he drinks from has a cap on it. He has no baseball caps at his house. It's just like, this is anything cap related is just God from fucking Rey Mysterio.
But I think that Kalisto could be the replacement that they want. And I heard there was rumors that they were going to take him up from NXT and repackage him as a gay hairstylist. But that was from a guy by the name of Mets Fan Forever. He's a known insider, and his rumor was debunked, and it's this isn't the first time that he's been proven false, because someone within the WWE called him out on it.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded like a troll move, if anything.
Well, and to have an openly gay hairstylist...
Yeah, that's just trolling.
Well, on a PG product, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, even to make that kind of claim, it just sounds so trollish.
Yeah.
It's too over the top to be taken seriously. And this is what I was talking about earlier, of how we as marks nitpick at little things. I mean, we're easy. We're just ripe for the picking when it comes to being trolled.
Yeah.
And that just seems like the thing. And yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Kalisto was like, well, if they got Kalisto as like their developmental next Rey Mysterio, why the fuck would they even go out looking? And it's like, well, are they looking at Lucha Underground at least, to where they would make an announcement that they're looking for the next star? It's like, well, you don't have to tell us that you're looking for the next star.
Well, and there's a guy from Lucha Underground that they could pull and sign and do it. If Kalisto ended up not working out, which I think he will, but if he wasn't going to work out, I think Phoenix would be another option.
Yes! This is okay. And now we're going to move on to Lucha Underground, because, dude, I'm telling you right now, and I was going to get your thoughts on... so they're in their second season. This is episode what? This would be like episode 15 that they're at right now?
I think so.
Okay.
They're on their second set of tapings. They're not doing seasons per se.
Okay.
It's like, it's a continuous season. They're not going to have off seasons like a lot of people thought they were.
Oh.
So.
Man, put that fucking phone in another room.
I can't, because I'm using it to do the podcast.
Oh, okay. God damn it. All right. So,
dumbass.
Hey. So, I thought it was just at your lap or something.
No.
Okay. So.
I'm popular. I can't help it.
Hey, I can dig it. Hey, there's Valentine's Day tomorrow. Good luck. So, out of all the guys, they got, their main roster right now is Mira Mortez, Johnny Mundo, Big Rick. Who's the hunter guy?
Damn it.
It doesn't matter. We know. Whatever. The hunter guy. You got the guy with the slippery tongue. He wasn't on.
Mil Muertes.
No, that's not Mil Muertes. That Mil Muertes is the big motherfucker with the really hot with Maxine.
Yeah, that dude sucks.
I love him, man.
He's garbage.
Oh, stop it. Well, anyway,
if you knew who he was under the mask, you'd think he was garbage.
Oh, I don't care. I like the way he's been written, and his little scene this last taping, this last show that they released, him backstage with Maxine, and then him running into Guerrero.
King Cuerno was the guy I couldn't think of the name of.
King Cuerno. When he ran into who's the Guerrero? Chavo. That scene.
Juventud isn't a Guerrero.
Okay. I mean, no, it's just I got my phonetics mixed up. But that was awesome. And I don't know. He's just, I don't know. I just like his character. Well, anyway, out of all the guys they got on the fucking roster right now, who stands out to you and why?
Phoenix, because all the high flying that he does, and he's probably my second favorite person on the roster.
I don't think that he's. I guess as
Drago is really good too.
Drago, that's the slippery tongue guy.
Yeah.
The thing
but he's
about
still not
Phoenix,
my favorite.
Phoenix is just he's like a Dolph Ziggler to me. I don't focus as much of his high flying. It's just he's like the king of execution out of all the people on the roster. Even more so Puma. It's just something about him. He's so scrappy. I think he wrestles with a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
That guy is awesome. And
yep.
And if you were to bring up, like you said before we transition over to this, it's like Phoenix. Why don't they recruit Phoenix? That guy is a workhorse. And the only problem that him coming over is that, just like say with Hideo and Finn Balor and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, is that his work rate would basically make anybody that you put in the ring with just make whoever that main roster guy just miles, just would seem miles away from him. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
That's the only backlash, is that you want some sort of common ground amongst the people in the ring. And I think even against the Dolph Ziggler, he would dwarf Dolph Ziggler in the ring to me. He's so good.
Yeah, he's really freaking good.
And then, Puma, and then Pentagon Jr. is another one of those guys that I think they're packaging him greatly. His in-ring ability is amazing. His storyline is great. Those two guys are wowing me. When they come on, I put my phone down and I stare at their match, because it's just, you're going to be entertained the entire time.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else that stands out to you? Other than, say, the obvious Puma, I mean, obviously.
Him, but I was going to say my favorite person on the roster isn't even a male. My favorite person on the roster is Sexy Star.
Sexy Star?
And the reason why is because, A, I've been following her before the show started.
Oh, look at you.
Following her for at least 3 years in CMLL.
Oh, I went to her first show. I knew her before she was popular.
But
get out of here.
Well, she was popular back then. She's 32, so she got into the business a while ago. But I'm just saying, the reason that she stands out to me is A, because she's a good wrestler, and B, because she's somebody that a little girl could look up to.
Well, she does the industry definitely a great. What's the word? She does them a justice. She does very much like the girl from PWG and the world's cutest tag team. I think her name is like Candice
LeRae.
Candice LeRae. They're doing a major justice within the world of wrestling to be able to be in the ring with males. And you get a bunch of dudes who...
Well, same with Evilise, too.
Yeah, Evilise, who put their fucking dicks between their legs, and they want to fucking, like, go all feminist on a motherfucker, right? And I go, like, but, like, oh, you know, it just pains me, you know, it makes me uncomfortable to see a guy hit a girl. It's like, will you separate your fucking, like, vagina from the wrestling industry, please? Because what happens is, in the world of wrestling, and that's what's great about the world of wrestling, it's kind of like a satire on the world we live in, you know, through the characters and certain storylines. And then when you take women and where they've been placed as divas, you want to be a feminist and you want to talk shit about how the divas are being handled. Don't talk about how you don't like the visual of a man hitting a woman, because what's happening is they're giving these women a platform as an even playing field. People want to talk about, you know, feminists, they want equality. Well, it gets no fucking equal than having a woman in a ring facing a man and not only getting hit and slammed, but she's doing some hitting and some slamming too, and actually pulling off some victories. So, you know, anyone who wants to talk shit about, like, that visual, it's like, dude, you're doing Evilise, you're doing Candice, you're doing Sexy Star and Injustice by being, like, being a pussy. So, if I'm obliged to say so. And I don't even look at any of those people as girls in the ring. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous thing to me. And oh well, I digress. That was like my heel promo.
Dig it.
Yeah. So and I guess the big news, and we'll wrap it up on this. The introduction of Alberto Patron.
El Patron.
Oh yeah, El Patron. El Patron.
Yep.
To the world of Lucha Underground, and
he's the reason why I'm going to the Vegas show on March 1st for Ring of Honor.
And yes, because what belt did he bring with him in that show?
It's the AAA World Title.
Okay, and he has the ROH title too, right?
No, he does not.
Oh, okay.
Jay Briscoe has the ROH World Title. Alberto El Patron is challenging for the television title,
which is held by Jay Lethal.
Correct.
He's had that
Jay Briscoe's the world champion,
belt?
And Jay Lethal's the TV champion.
How long has Lethal held that belt?
He beat Tommaso Ciampa for it, I believe. So it's been a few months.
Months? I feel like it's been a year. I mean, I've been following ROH since the first pay-per-view. When was that?
That was back in June of last year.
Okay. So he's been champ since then.
I've never missed a episode of ROH TV, so that's since 2011.
Wow.
So, but I followed them before they were on television.
Here you go again.
It's like I make sure to catch them because it's always going to be a good wrestling hour. So,
is there anything you haven't seen before it actually got big?
Huh?
Has there anything you've been like a fan of before it got big? Okay, so you got Sexy Star. Now you got like ROH. Anything else?
Well, I watched ROH.
Oh, stop it! I'm just fucking
on
with
and
you.
off, before they got on TV. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
No, I'm just picking on you. Like,
I could say
you're that guy. Like,
watch that crap.
I'm just picking on you because it sounds like you're that guy who's just like, well, I was into it before everyone else. It's like,
whatever.
Yeah, dude. Whatever. Your whatever. I trump your whatever. Whatever. How do you see him playing out? Because what's happening in Lucha Underground is that, like, they're just bringing in new guys, and they're cycling in people, cycle out people. You don't see overwhelmed, but at the same time, you should be overwhelmed because, I mean, they just brought in Brian Cage. They just brought in Brian Cage. They brought in, I feel like they just brought in someone else. And now they got El Patron. And then now they got Texano Jr.? Texicano Jr. So
and then there's a rumor that Rey Mysterio is going to come in.
Dude, like, how are they able to pull off having all of this talent?
Because they're a sister promotion to AAA.
But pull off having all this talent and not fit and squeezing it all in an hour's time, and you're not feeling like you're either missing out on something or overwhelmed with something.
I would like it to go to 2 hours, but I don't think they should do that.
Oh, hell no.
Right away. You don't want it to go to 2 hours at all?
No. Oh no.
Why not?
Because you know what? Because it will become something else.
Because less is more.
Well, not necessarily less is more. I just think it would just become something else. I think it would become another entity. I think it would take away from what they have going on right now, and I like what they have right now.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Where you can keep Puma off TV, where you can have Cage off TV, where you can have other guys, Drago off TV, and be completely fine with it.
Okay.
You know, and bring in new guys, and it's okay, because when Mundo's on TV and he came back, I was like, oh yeah, Mundo, yeah, that was what's up, right?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I just think it's a very cohesive for what they have, which is a lot, and it still comes off as super cohesive. Everyone gets their time. You're not underwhelmed. You're not overwhelmed. It's just done so good. I don't know. Where do you see Alberto El Patron, his impact? What do you see him doing? Do you think he's going straight to the title, or they're just going to extend the AAA feud of Texicano to a American audience?
I think what they're going to do, they're going to do the feud with Texicano, but I think what they're going to do in the long run is not have him win the Lucha Underground championship, because he doesn't need it.
Yeah.
I think he would just be like, he can be a centerpiece that you could build Lucha Underground around, but you don't, in order to do that, you don't have to put the belt on him.
Do they incorporate, because he brought the belt, I think if they were trying to, like, you know, not bring up the idea that there's this AAA belt floating around outside of that promotion, Lucha Underground, that they wouldn't have had him at least come out with the belt. Do you think that the feud between him and Texicano for the AAA belt actually reach Lucha Underground? And if it does, do you think it's a good or bad idea?
If they do pay-per-views like is rumored, then sure. But I don't know if they would...
Okay.
But I don't know if they would give... I don't know if they would do a AAA world title match on Lucha Underground television. Mm-hmm. Mainly because in order to do it, you would have to dedicate the entire hour to one match. They've done that before with Aztec Warfare.
Which was awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing.
But that was like a multitude of fighters.
Yeah, but I don't know if they would want to do it just for one match.
Why would they have to dedicate it to 1 hour?
Because it's a 1 hour show.
But how would those two guys take up an hour?
Hype videos for like a couple minutes before, like 10 minutes of hype videos.
And how much?
A couple minutes for entrances.
And how much of a match would they give them?
30 to 40 minutes. If they want to tell a real good story.
I see what you're saying. Would it be worth it to them?
I think it would be.
To Lucha Underground?
I think it would be for that mainstream appeal.
And
because they want to get more eyes on the product.
But who would it help more, Lucha or AAA?
I think it would help both.
Both? Okay.
People would see El Patron in Lucha Underground and then want to check out AAA, and then people would see the AAA World Champion in Lucha Underground and be drawn more to Lucha Underground, because if that were to happen, then you would say, and already it kind of has happened, where since El Patron already showed up, it's like they're giving you the idea that you never know who's going to show up. Mm-hmm. So I think that could be a huge advantage going forward for this company.
And on that note, let's go ahead and wrap this bad boy up. I would like to thank Nathan. I would like to thank you, brother, for taking out time out of your pre-Valentine's Day planning to talk wrestling with me. You're the best. And
it's not a problem, man.
And tell the people again what you do and how to find you. And I think I still have the links from the previous time, the previous other time that we talked. So I just like copy and paste that so people can actually click the links or copy and paste into their browser to get to what you're about to pub right now.
Okay, so you can follow me on Twitter at Headliner5. That's the number 5. Follow at Eyes on the Ring at Eyes on the Ring. Follow Elite Podcast Network at Elite Podcast Net. We have a new .com website at eyesonthering.com is the source of all information. Eyes on the Ring. Then we have Dartees. That's DARTEES.spreadshirt.com. You can pick up the Eyes on the Ring logo t-shirt or the Eyes on the Ring Bullet Club t-shirt that I am wearing right now. Also
send a tweet, dude. Tweet it.
Also check out blogtalkradio.com/Elite Podcast Network. Stitcher, you can search us, Elite Podcast Network. And finally, like us on Facebook Facebook.com/Eyes on the Ring.
Damn, that's a lot of shit, dude.
Yeah, I know. I wrote it out, and I'm like, yeah, it's like an entire page.
All right, and we'll wrap it up. So in 2 weeks, you will not be back because you have prior engagements. You're going to go to where?
I'll be in Vegas for the ROH 13th anniversary show.
All right, so he's looking forward to that, and me, I'm gonna just be sitting on my fucking hands. I think I think the night of Fastlane, there's a wrestling thing going on in Winston-Salem that's gonna feature, I think, the Young Bucks and a couple of other indie. I think Uha Nation is gonna be there, so that's like the next live event that I'll probably be at. I can't think of the name of it right now. We spoke about it on the Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling podcast. But but nevertheless, again, thank you so much for giving us your time. And we'll talk to you, if not soon, and your phone. Your friend Buzz over there. Sooner than later.
Okay.
Or later than sooner, nevertheless. On behalf of Nathan, anything? No last words?
I'm trying to think if I have anything else to say.
Those are your last words. On behalf of Nathan Neuman at Headliner5, I'm Peter. Thanks for listening, and enjoy your NBA All-Star Valentine's Day weekend. Peace, bitches.